Myrtle Beach Speedway closed after its final event in 2020 and has fallen to father time. Nobody told that to iRacing though, and Dirty Myrtle is still available for racing on the sim. We're thankful for that this evening as we're set to go racing for 250 laps at one of the toughest ever tracks in the Southeast. Welcome to Pit Stop TV, the virtual Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Myrtle alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you, a special pleasure to join you this evening for coverage of the Sim Auto Racing Association 1/8 Racing Media National Tour for the Myrtle Beach 400. Tonight's coverage is brought to you by 1/8 Racing Media, by SARA Next Gen Templates, and by Whiplash Sim Cams. Thanks for joining us this evening. This is a big-time broadcast for us. We've had some technical difficulties that have sidelined us for a few days, a week really it's felt like, so it's good to be back. It's good to be in action. Now, I normally wouldn't acknowledge it, but I feel like I kind of have to. It's been a big deal for us here at Pit Stop TV. It has significantly affected our broadcast schedule. So it's worth talking about, in my opinion, and there's a possibility, I'll be honest, that we run into some issues this evening, but we've taken some measures to try and avoid that. We've taken some measures to try and lighten the load on the broadcast computer and hope that everything skirts on by and that we're okay this evening. So bear with us. I hate to even talk about it, but it's that kind of gremlin that you just can't get out of your system, it feels like, and it's just there. So we've got to address it at the very least so that if it happens, you guys know what's going on and we can work with it from there. That said, Zach, we can talk about what's on hand for us this evening here at the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway. Oh boy, Myrtle Beach. It is the place to be. It was the place to be in August of 2020. I'm very lucky to have been there and been on camera for that final race at this racetrack. I'm so lucky, so thankful to have been a part of history here, because this place was oh so special to so many people, and it's so unfortunate that's fallen off the map. But I'm glad that we're able to go back racing here on the iRacing.com sim, especially in an event like this.
As in mind, Myrtle Beach Speedway was, like you said, Andrew, the place to be, the short track of the South. This place brought stars, it brought nobodies and made them stars. This track is probably one of my favorites on the schedule. I've always enjoyed coming to Myrtle Beach on the sim. I wish I had the chance to race here, whether it be in a late model, a legend car, whatever it could have been. I'm sad to see it's gone, but I'm happy to see that it lives on here in the iRacing.com sim. And now we get to see these SARA drivers in this 1/8 Racing Media National Tour take to this racetrack in all its glory for 250 laps, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for us tonight.
What was it you said recently in a Discord chat with the BRB guys where it was, what was it? Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. That's how I feel about Myrtle Beach Speedway. I think that's a great way to sum this place up and the history in the last couple of years where it's fallen off the map. But anyways, here you go. Here's a look at the full schedule. Myrtle Beach checking in here in October 15th. The date was kind of up in the air, so we left that part off until it actually officially happened here this evening on October 15th. Next up, we go racing at Five Flags Speedway, so we're moving further and further south here. It's crazy. We've gone from way up north at Oxford, down a little bit further south, I think, to Wisconsin for Slinger, and then a little further south to Martinsville, a little further south out of to South Carolina and Myrtle Beach, and we're going way further south to Five Flags next. So these last 5 races of the schedule just keep getting further and further and further and further south, and should be a lot of fun to close the season out. These last couple of races, 250 laps each. Of course, it is the Myrtle Beach 400. There was 100 laps of racing last night, 50 earlier today in the heats, and now 250 coming up for these late model stock cars, and then 250 coming up for the Fall Brawl in a little over a month, Zach. But let's talk about points. Oh, points. We got to talk about points, and Alex McCullum has a wrap on the field right now. He has a stranglehold on everybody. I don't expect that to change. It's going to take a lot to unseat him at this point.
Yeah, you say it is going to take a lot, because I'm looking, I know we're not there yet, but I'm looking at the starting lineup for tonight's event, and Alex McCullum is starting up inside the top 5. Cole Cabrey, he's starting outside the top 10, and then Ryan Kuhn he's not even racing tonight. He's on the spotter stand for a couple of drivers. So McCullum really only has Cabry to contend with at this point in time. And even so, if you want to factor in drop races, if that's even factored into the points yet, I'm not sure. Cabry has a long way to go to catch McCullum. And if Alex continues the run that he's had, then he is definitely going to be a lock for the championship. And you want to talk about championships for Alex McCullum, he just won the National Dirt Championship for U.S. Legend Cars and NX. This man is on a tear right now. He can't be stopped.
And he's one of the best on iRacing in a late model. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he's so good, but he is just one of, if not the best here in the Sim Auto Racing Association. He's just on rails every time we unload, every time we take race cars to a racetrack, virtually anyways. He's just the best, the car to beat, the driver to beat. I think that'll be the same this evening. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens this evening, though, as we are just scratching the surface of what this race has in store. Let's flip into the iRacing.com sim and take a look at some of the paint schemes around the racetrack. We're in warm-up now. We can also take a look at the weather conditions. It's sitting at 76 degrees in the air, 83 on track, partly cloudy skies. You can see clouds dotting the skyline there, here and there, really. Nothing too crazy. Certainly weather is not going to be an aspect this evening. This is a perfect virtual evening to go racing at the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway. But Zach, Jacob Harberts in this warm-up session is fastest, which is something to watch, something to very much take note of, with that number 80 car being oh so fast. And there he is, with Marvin the Martian playing, well, just having a grand old time on the side of his car and the hood of his car, and maybe giving him power to hit light speed and win this race. You never know.
Would it be wrong if I said that I wish someone had a Bugs Bunny car? And it's going to sound a little wrong, but I'm going to say it would be funny if someone had a Bugs Bunny car and ended up somehow getting into him and wrecking him and taking him out, and it ended up like a whole Looney Tunes scenario. You know how Bugs Bunny and Marvin go at it with each other, and somehow, some way, shape, or form, Marvin gets blasted with his own blaster, gets rocketed back into outer space, something like that. It'd just be somewhat comedic relief.
Hey, anything's possible here at Myrtle Beach. That's what I'll say. Anything is possible at Dirty Myrtle. But here's a look at Justin Crow, another driver on the racetrack right now. Warm-up is lightening up. Fewer cars are on the racetrack now than we've had for most of the session, so he's actually the highest driver by time that is on the racetrack. We'll move down to Steele Langford from Matt Julis C Speed Shop in the 33 car. And then a bunch of guys at the bottom end of the timing chart are running as many laps as they can. Rocky Boyd, Trevor Edwards, Jake Grout, Matt Rolfe, RJ Williams, a bunch of drivers turning all these laps that they can here, getting whatever time on the racetrack possible. It's important, Zach, to get as many laps as you can, get all the time you can on the racetrack, and just get a feel for this place, especially in this day-to-night transition. When the sun is setting, the track is cooling down a little bit, even though you're still on the racetrack, putting heat into it. This is an important time to be on the racetrack.
That it is. You just want to get as much feel as you can as the track starts to change, and you really don't want to put yourself in a bad scenario where you only ran the heat and then the track changed from the other heat to the warm-up and from the warm-up to the race. So you just want to keep having that feel in the back of your head so you know what the track's going to be like when you go into it for the race. And you can see there's a few drivers racing around now. Derek Robinson's right behind Steele Langford, so they're getting a little feel for racing around each other. Looking at Brad Carpenter, he's all by himself in that Firebird. Looking through the onboard, boy, look at that sunset. I gotta ask, Andrew, were the sunsets that beautiful when you were at Myrtle Beach?
I wish I could tell you, Zach. That day at Myrtle Beach was one of the cloudiest, and well, there was a little bit of sunset for a little bit, and I'm talking very early stages of sunset, but it quickly turned to just clouds and just sprinkling rain. And if you were there, you know it was just not a great day to be at the racetrack. They battled little sprinkles of rain all race long until finally rain ended that race a little bit early, but anyhow.
There was one race though. I I don't remember who I saw it from, as we watch Alex McCullum here taking a few laps, trying to put himself a little bit higher up on the board for the warm-up. I remember, because if I'm not mistaken, this track sat below water level or something, because the track flooded while drivers were there trying to get a race in, and the infield tunnel was actually underwater, so they couldn't even get out.
Nothing surprises me at Myrtle Beach. That's what I'll say. Nothing surprises me at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Such a great place to have gone racing, and again, so lucky, so thankful to have been a part of that final event here at Myrtle Beach Speedway in the real world. But man, I wish it was still around. Here's a look at Cody Dempster with the Rocket iRace wraps, number 24 from Ryan Kuhn Motorsports. You know, he was a big part of the Cars Tour at Tri-County this past weekend. He got monster trucked, as the team put it. The left side of the car was torn off of that race car, but I think he still had a fun time. Nearly went top 10 in the Cars Tour at Tri-County. That is a rough and tumble race to try and get it done in. Unfortunately, that does mean his season is over one race early. He will not be making it to North Wilkesboro this weekend for the Cars Tour season finale, but it was certainly some solid effort put forth by that team. Now, there was one other driver we want to talk about. Gotta find him. I don't see him. We'll circle back to him at some point. Kyle Terzak has a bit of a special livery on his car, and we'll talk about that when the time is right. But that's going to wrap up warm-up. And this gives us a chance now, as we roll straight into nighttime conditions here at the racetrack, to talk about the Whiplash SimCams race details. Zach, a 250-lap race with a break at lap 125. There's one change set in the pit lane. You must take all four at that halfway break. Green flag laps only, 2 green-white checkers available, open setup, no fast fixes. A pretty standard race, nothing too crazy going on.
Yeah, it's not really anything out of the ordinary that we've seen all season long, really, Andrew. I mean, this is probably going to be one of the best straight-up races that we've seen all season. And I think we're in for one heck of a show. Like we've said all warm-up, Myrtle Beach tends to provide great racing. So as these guys grid up, I think we're going to be in for a show tonight.
That's a look at your Whiplash SimCams race details. Let's take a look now at the starting grid, brought to you by CC's Business with Jacob Harberts on pole. We were just talking about him fastest in warm-up. He's fastest in qualifying, and he'll start from first. Blake Thronberg starts from second place this evening. Kyle Terzak in a special paint scheme rolls off from the third spot. Alex McCullum rolls off in fourth. Starting fifth, it's going to be Jeremy Ashby. Sixth, Justin Crow. Seventh place will be none other than Chase Robertson. Eighth, Cody Dempster. And to complete your top 10, Chris Horton and Steele Langford.
You see the drivers splitting back there as they go around the turtles. Inside takes the bottom, outside takes top, as Riley Senjum is going to take 11th spot. Trevor Edwards in the 12th spot. Aaron Johnson and Cole Cabrey. We talked about Cabrey being in the fight for the championship. He starts outside the top 10. He's going to need to find some pace to get inside the top 10. Matt Rolfe in the 000 and Jake Grout in the 15th and 16th spot. Starting off tonight, Spencer Dickinson and Keith Jeffrey in 17th and 18th. And then in row number 10 for your 26 car field, it's going to be 19th and 20th. That's going to be Kyle Meyer and Brad Carpenter.
21st and 22nd will be Cameron Hamilton and Rocky Boyd. RJ Williams and Derek Robinson make up row 12. And finally, Kyle Souza and Josh Parrish complete your 26 car field. They'll all roll by on the very bottom of your screen here in just one moment. That will be wrapped up. You see the sun has set behind turn 4, and we are into the nighttime. And what do we say about the nighttime, Zach?
The nighttime is the right time to party.
Maybe to party, maybe not to party, but the nighttime is the right time, and this is a good moment to take a look at Kyle Terzak's paint scheme. He messaged me earlier and let me know that this is in honor of a close friend, family member that has passed away recently, and I just want to give a moment to acknowledge what Kyle Terzak is doing here, and we appreciate his efforts and what he's doing to remember that close loved one. That said, Zach, we're going to roll out of turn number 4 and turn this wick up. Green flag at Myrtle Beach. One lap in the books around Myrtle Beach Speedway. Blake Thronberg hounds the 80 car for first. Terzak, who won both races last night in the mini stock and the street stock, he sits third. Alex McCullum falls back to the 5th spot.
As we roll through the field, you see them all getting single file. They are single file up to Robinson, and then you've got fights side by side. Crow, Dempster, Langford. As you see so many laps clicking off purple. You see Langford on the outside, Dickinson, Grouch on the outside. They're all trying to roll that top line, but getting to the bottom is going to be the tricky part. And one thing that's different about Myrtle Beach, going on the inside. Crash, front straightaway.
One car in the fence. Stenjum in the 77 will go for a spin, and he'll collect it down in turn 1.
Saw Langford clobber the wall with the right side too. That was a big impact for that 33 car.
Was that the driver that hit the wall? He hit it hard. And surprisingly, he doesn't have much right side damage to show for it. These iRacing late model stock cars are rather resilient. They are tanks, and you can see he got the wall good enough to bend up that right rear, but it looks like he just kissed it by comparison.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a big impact for that 33 car as we saw off the turn 4 speed shot. But we look on the replay now. Langford gets a tap by Stenjum, and it sends him into the wall, and then just gets a little collected up behind from a checkup. That 77 went pirouetting down the front straightaway.
Not quite pirouetting, thankfully. Spinning would be a good way to put it. Spin cycle.
Yeah.
Pirouetting would be up in the air, flipping around. That thankfully.
On the nose.
Yeah, thankfully it's not quite a pirouette. It's a 2D pirouette, we'll call it.
Me forgetting terms for ballet, considering I never took ballet. But we take a look on from the onboard from the 77 car. See Langford's up on the outside. The 77 just rolls the bottom a little bit better, but ends up collecting the 33 at the quarter panel. But it's a clean spin, Andrew. There's no damage on that race car, so Riley should be able to continue moving forward and hopefully not have to take any fast fixes.
It was Trevor Edwards that turned the 77 car around. Edwards, of course, had nowhere to go. They checked up on his nose, and, well, the 77 paid the price.
One thing that I was trying to say before the caution came out, I was just making the point, is one thing that I think is different about Myrtle Beach is it's a lot like some dirt tracks in the country where they have tires on the inside. They tell you don't hit the tires, it'll rip off a wheel, it'll do something to your car. Myrtle Beach has what looks like sausage turtle curves. You see them, the little bumps on the white line on the inside line here on pit exit. You hit that with your left side tire, that car goes straight. Those things, you don't want to touch them, you got to stay off them, and I feel like we may see a couple of drivers hitting some of those tonight.
Let's hope not, because that can get dangerous in a hurry. But here we go, into the restart zone. Matt Rolfe wants these drivers to use the restart box. There it is. Green flag is back in the air in the Myrtle Beach 400. Alex McCullum way down low on the inside of Jeremy Ashby, trying to fight for that 4th spot.
Side by side, they roll into one. Ooh, that's a little hop off of those inside curves. That's what I was talking about, Andrew. You saw the wheel correction out of Alex McCullum, but he keeps it straight. He didn't touch him too much. Maybe just grazed him with the sidewall of the tire. So he keeps that car rolling, and we got a fight for second. Terzak underneath Thronberg. Going into turn 1 as Trevor Edwards goes purple. Not going to get there. Going to keep clear off of turn number 2. So Terzak falls back in line behind that 22 of Thronberg as Harberts is setting sail in front of the field.
Here comes Terzak again, looking to the inside in turn 1. That's a special thing about the front stretch here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Because it has that bit of a curve, because it has that kind of D shape to it, you can pull out like that, a lot like at Richmond Raceway, where you can just pull to the inside and make a dive bomb move into turn 1. It's very, very similar here. It's on a smaller scale, and you're seeing it at work as that's the 96 of Kyle Terzak still working on the inside of Blake Thronberg.
Yeah, you saw Terzak come up off of turn number 2. They made a little bit of contact the last time by. Now we look through the rest of the field. You see Trevor Edwards, who just went fast. It's not too many laps to go. He's sitting right behind Cody Dempster. As they roll into turn number 1, you can see the fight all over. Robertson gets a little up the racetrack. That's going to allow Dempster to pull further alongside, get the nose going into turn number 1, or excuse me, turn number 3. And they usually say once you have the nose in front when it comes to making the pass, you are pretty much well and clear to take that spot away. It makes the runs a heck of a lot easier in just about any race car, and that is Dempster well and clear as Edwards is falling through. I didn't realize these drivers were running in 3rd gear.
There was a move there from Dempster to the inside of Chris Horton. And that does not pan out for Dempster. He has to fall back in line. Trevor Edwards goes by Chase Robertson of the 31 car. Robertson falling now to the 32 and the 33 of Steele Langford. No, it's not the 34 that'd be next up. It'd be the 78 car of Aaron Johnson. That would be next up to try and pass that 31 machine. But here we go. Back to the inside of Horton goes the 24 of Cody Dempster. While Dempster has been running a little bit in the real world, so has Chris Horton. I believe he was present at Martinsville Speedway for the Martinsville 300, the Valley Star Credit Union 300, I should say. And I believe was present. I believe had the car out there. I would have to check my notes one more time, but I know he's been very active in southeastern late model stock racing in Virginia and North Carolina, in that area. I know he ran Langley not too long ago for the Hampton Heat. So good to see Chris Horton here this evening as he takes it to the outside of Alex McCullum. Suddenly it looks like McCullum might be human after all.
He just might, but I'll tell you, one driver that's also human, Cole Cabrey. Cabrey's dropped down a few spots since the drop of the green flag, and we're 20 laps in. He can't really be losing too many spots. You see Cabrey in front of Rocky Boyd. Cabrey's 16th. Started 14th. He was up to 13th at one point, but that's the highest he's been so far in the 20 laps we've turned tonight. He's got just over 105 to go when we take the line for this first segment. I don't know if he's sitting back there saving his tires or something, but if I was Cabrey, I would try to get at least some sort of track position, get myself up there a little bit further, because you do not want to be losing any more spots. You see Rocky Boyd taking a look to the inside, and Cabrey is going to stick that car up on the top line. He's not going to have anywhere to fall in line. Hamilton on the inside, and then you've got Stenjum right behind. So this might be a couple more spots for Cabrey going backwards.
One thing we haven't really talked about yet is just how long this race truly is. 250 laps here. 250 laps here. That is a long day at the office as Kyle Souza now works to the inside of Cole Cabrey. Cabrey's going to fall all the way back now to the 20th position, and that is not what he wants for the 54 car in this championship battle with Alex McCullum, although McCullum is down to 9th. Zach, this is really an odd day, and it's not the entire shop program because Trevor Edwards has speed. Edwards is up to 7th. It's seemingly just Alex McCullum and Cole Cabrey. And you could make the case that maybe they're saving tires, but it just doesn't seem like it.
I'm trying to think what's potentially going through their head at the moment, because this is just unusual to see from the shop drivers. Like you said, Trevor Edwards has speed as well, so it can't be anything going on. We've heard from Alex, from Cole, I don't know how many times so far this season, that they're all using the same setup. They may make a few adjustments here and there to fit their particular driving style throughout the course of the race, but they're all using the same baseline for this track. You see a couple of cars scrape the wall in front. Either there's some sort of strategy they're trying to play, or they could just be struggling, because I've never seen this out of Alex McCullum or Cole Cabrey. Cabrey's dropped 7 spots. McCullum's dropped 4. This is wild. There seems to be a little bit of contact there. Ashby hit the wall right behind Terzak.
Yeah, that was Jeremy Ashby getting down into the inside wall, trying to get by Kyle Terzak. Couldn't do it. And he'll have to sit back now and reassess this whole situation for himself. Harberts continues to lead here on lap 28 of 250. And it's Thronberg, Terzak, Ashby, and Horton your top 5. Dempster, Edwards, Langford, McCullum, Roberts in your top 10. But going back to just how long this race truly is, 125 miles in a late model stock car is a long ways to go. A lot of races end up being 125 laps and that's it. A lot of late model stock races end up being around that range. And that might be at a third-mile racetrack, a half-mile racetrack, rarely. Usually somewhere between 3 and 4/10 of a mile. So, to be running 125 miles plus, because this is technically a 0.53-mile racetrack. Let's do the math. Break out the calculator. So, a 0.53-mile racetrack, Zach. Following along? Times 250 laps is 132 and a half miles. Roughly, give or take.
Roughly, he says.
Punched it into the calculator, that's what it told me anyway. So, 132 and a half miles. That's quite a distance for any race. I know NASCAR goes out there and runs the big 300, 400-mile races. Sure, that's a long time. But they also do it at 190 miles per hour usually, or 170 to 190, thereabouts. We're doing it down here at about 100 miles per hour. This race is going to wear on these drivers, and if you think they are making crazy moves by the end of it, oh man. We're going to have some crazy racing by the end of this thing. These guys will be worn out mentally, physically. They're going to battle the race car. And a lot of these guys are getting more and more expensive and realistic wheels and wheelbases that more and more realistically mimic the actual input of steering the car. By the end of this thing, these guys will be mentally and physically worn out, at least in a sim racer perspective, and will be apt to make some crazy moves. I'm telling you, it's just the way it's going to be.
That it is. But 36 laps into the race already. We're already ticking off quite quickly when it comes to these laps. Looking at the gearbox. Oh, big wiggle right there.
And that was Terzak into Thronberg. That opens the door for Ashby to go by for second. Terzak falls back behind Horton, and now to Cody Dempster. So Dempster on the inside of that 96 car down the back straightaway.
Nice to see Chris Horton and Dempster actually having some good runs here. Horton up to 4th. Dempster looking like he's going to try to get 5th away from Terzak here, but Terzak fights back on the outside line, holds on to that 5th spot. I think Thronberg might have touched the wall there because Horton looked to the inside going into 1. Shuffled him up the racetrack just a little bit, but they're going to stay single file. And, you know, we think about Chris Horton and how much he's gone through this season so far. He's been involved in a lot of these events, and he's had quite a bit of bad luck, I will say, as he looks at the inside again to Thronberg. We remember back to the Hampton Heats at Langley. He got into a big crash, and it took him out of the race. And, you know, Langley, I believe, you said it, Andrew, Langley is Horton's local track, so he really wanted to do pretty good there.
So he's located in northeastern North Carolina, which puts him right around your area, actually, but a little further out there. I believe Langley ends up being one of his local tracks, which is why he goes there for Hampton Heat, as he now gets a move to the inside here from Kyle Terzak. But I think more locally to him would be Southern National Motorsports Park, so I wouldn't be surprised if you go and see him at the Thanksgiving Classic later this year. That seems like something that he would just end up running, but we'll have to wait and see. Terzak beating it on his bumper just a little bit. Terzak falls back to Dempster, but here he goes, the inside lane. Horton got the wall.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of smoke off the wall there, and it looks like he's going to shuffle him up the racetrack once again. Terzak now trying to be fully clear, and that he is completely clear of the 42 of Chris Horton, but now Cody Dempster on the inside trying to take that spot away from Horton. Oh, they make contact in turn number 2. Horton keeps it off the wall. They stay side by side down the back straightaway. And now Dempster. Oh, that could have been an easy right hook there from Horton and Dempster.
Here comes Edwards now to the inside of Chris Horton. Horton falling back. It's like you get put up on the outside lane and you're just along for the ride. It's like Martinsville in that way.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can make some headway on that outside line. I think we'll
like
see
Horton
that as
just
the race
did.
goes on.
Like Horton just did. He fights himself back into a spot there on the bottom and gets back ahead of Trevor Edwards. I'm sure Edwards let him in at that point, realizing, you know, this is still real early in the race, lap 45 of 250. Not even halfway to the halfway break, which, by the way, would come around lap 62.
Now, as we continue to roll, you see here from the speed shot, well, not the speed shot, that the whole field is just single file now. No fights throughout the entirety of the field. Well, I say no fights, but everybody's fighting for track position. Nobody's really making moves to the outside line, and, well, Keith Jeffrey, he's on that outside line. Maybe making some headway. 3 and 4 seems to be the spot on the track for the outside to really work in your favor. As he continues to hold that outside line, but Rocky Boyd now to the inside, and Horton gets shuffled out by Trevor Edwards.
Well, two good battles on this racetrack right now. One inside the top 10, one outside the top 10. Edwards, though, going to win this fight over Chris Horton. Here comes Steele Langford to try and take advantage of it. Langford will do so. Next up would be Alex McCullum to try and go by.
McCullum holding that inside line. Horton gets a bit of a wiggle on the top. So now he's side by side with McCullum. Taps the wall in the front straightaway again. McCullum gives him space. And that is one spot up for Alex McCullum. Robertson's going to follow him through. And maybe, oh boy, I thought Aaron Johnson was going to try to take a look to the inside, but he's going to stay single file. So that is Chris Horton now, who is up in fourth, up in third actually, trying to contend. Now he's fallen all the way back to just on the inside of the top 10, potentially looking to drop further down. Maybe we're starting to see these guys in their tire wear, Andrew. We see some more fights right behind.
Yes, Stenjam working the outside lane, going by Jake Grout, or trying to anyways. Trying to make some headway on the very top of the racetrack, and he will make that pass. So could it be that all these guys are saving tires and he's deciding not to anymore? He's deciding it's go time. Try and get some track position, then hang on later.
I can't be a big fan of getting track position early on, just because of how it comes down to tire wear. That's the only thing I'm thinking about right now. Stenjam up the racetrack. I think he misjudged the corner right there and had to throw it up to the outside, but now to the inside. Almost. Stay single file now. That was Parrish he was trying to pass, I'm pretty sure. Now, Jake Kraut looking to see if he can make a move. Rocky Boyd right behind. There's a lot of potential moves that can be made right now, Andrew, but I think the patience is showing in a lot of these drivers.
Meanwhile, up front, Jeremy Ashby continues to roll around in second place, just ahead of Blake Thronberg, and these guys have more or less caught the 80 car of Harbert's. I'm sure Harbert's is kind of making this race work in his favor. Doesn't want to get out too far, doesn't want to get out to a massive advantage, wants to keep things tidy and save his stuff as long as he can. We're rolling up on halfway to the halfway break.
Quarter of the way done.
Nearly. Nearly. At 62 and a half laps complete, we'll be there.
Well, as we roll up on halfway of halfway, Jacob Harper's, oh, we're 3 wide. We were 3 wide for a moment there. That was interesting.
Rocky Boyd, the benefactor there, he goes by Jake Grout. Justin Crowe stays ahead of it. He'll assume 13th spot. I think Crowe had a mistake because he was ahead of Stenjam. So Crowe falls back to 13th as now Aaron Johnson looks to the inside of Chris Horton. Here we go. This is for 10th spot. Johnson's now going to have it. Horton loses it. And who? That is Stenjam blinking on the inside of the 42 car. That could get treacherous in a hurry.
And it could.
Well, lap traffic could be a matter of laps away for race leader Jacob Harberts. Josh Parrish is a little ways off the pace this evening. He runs down in the 26th position. So a lot of work to do for the 55 car. But plenty of time to get that work done. Ahead of him, you'll find RJ Williams in the 25th spot. Also struggling a little bit this evening. But Josh Parrish is only some 4 seconds ahead of the race leaders. Parrish is going to be lapped here soon. RJ Williams is tagging on to the very back end of the field, so he's a little closer to company. But if you look at Jacob Harberts, look at Parrish just in the frame up ahead.
I didn't realize that Stenjum had gone 2 laps down now.
Well, that's the blinking. He's blinking out and everything else, trying to hang on to a connection.
Well, like you said, Andrew, there's Parrish right there in the foreground of the camera shot. Jacob Harberts rolling up on him. You saw Throwenberg take a little bit of a look right behind Harberts. He might have tried to make a move on Ashby back there, but it looks like everything is fizzling out behind. So right on board with Harberts. Like I said earlier, Andrew, I did not realize these drivers were in 3rd gear. They have open sets, obviously, and there is so much that is different between all of these sets when it comes to how the drivers are rolling the racetrack. But 3rd gear in a late model stock car, that's still relatively new to me, considering they have 4 gears. And I don't know about you, but I love the sound a late model stock car makes when it bounces off that chip.
A late model stock car getting up on the chip is a very special sound. Another special sound is Kyle Terzak to the inside of Blake Throwenberg, this for 3rd.
Not the first time we've seen this tonight. Terzak making moves to put his car up towards the front. He's going to clear Throwenberg. Now Cody Dempster with a big send to the inside line. But it looks like Throwenberg's going to have the run, and he's going to stay clear of that 24 car. That's a big move by Dempster right there. I didn't think it was going to work out too well. It's really easy to hold a run on the outside if a driver makes a send on that inside in turn 3. So easy to see how Throwenberg was holding on to that spot. But Trevor Edwards ain't too far behind. Andrew still Langford in a sandwich of shop drivers as we roll past halfway of halfway.
Yeah, a little ways past halfway to halfway now, working lap 69, so a nice effort so far made to get into this race and get some laps complete. And Terzak making a nice move down to the inside of the 0-1 car of Jeremy Ashby. This for 2nd place. Contact!
Oh, contact!
Hey, really beat and bang a little bit there out of turn number 2. Terzak back to the inside of Ashby, not relenting.
That could have been a lot
more
worse
contact. Terzak's aggressive. He wants it. He really wants it. He dominated the mini stock and street stock races last night, won each of them. He really wants this thing tonight.
He's going for it. He's got the speed to get it done. The question is, can he get the track position still on that inside of Jeremy Ashby into turn 1? Love these onboard shots. They're side by side, nose to nose, coming off the corner. Into turn number 3 they go. There's more contact. Ashby turned in early. Terzak wasn't having anything of it. That Justin Brooks Design 0-1 car is hanging tough on that outside line. There is nowhere for Ashby to go.
Contact.
More contact.
Just keep bumping and banging. Watch on from the nose camera here with Blake Throwenberg. You can see just how close these two are getting. And now Ashby's going to sink back and I think give up that 2nd spot for the time being. Maybe not. He's trying not to, I think. But here comes Throwenberg on the inside. Ashby takes a look and stays behind Kyle Terzak. Throwenberg stays behind Ashby for now.
I was hoping for a crossover move right there.
Oh, and here comes Dempster on the outside. He misses the corner. Gets up into the dirty stuff. Way out there.
And then look at McCullum. He's trying to pass Steele Langford right now. He's stuck on the inside line. So it's a 2x2 right now for Edwards, Dempster, McCullum, Langford, and Robertson right behind. Aaron Johnson, the next closest car, and he's almost a second behind this group. Now we're 2x2, 6 cars deep. We've got Ashby stuck on the outside of Throneburg. Edwards is going to try to plug the hole. Hopefully he can. Dempster still hanging tough. These guys can't run their lines. Ashby falls in. Does not let Edwards get to him, and he's going to go defensive down into turn number 1. He's not going to get to Throneburg. But now Robertson is looking like he's going to try to pass McCullum. Could we see 3 wide?
No 3 wide yet. Dempster still on the outside. Here comes that 3 wide. Steele Langford in the middle. Cody Dempster way up top. And Alex McCullum way down low to turn 1. Contact between Langford and Dempster. And there it is. Wow, he catches it. He caught it by the grace of Steele Langford's right front.
I think Dempster came over the radio and was very irritated there with Steele Langford. But I'm going to level with you, Andrew. I'm going to be like you. Call it as I see it. I don't think Dempster fully realized how tight together that 3 wide scenario was. And I think he kind of turned down on Steele Langford.
I'm going to have to agree. I don't think Langford did anything wrong. He was caught in the middle there between a rock and a hard place and was just doing his best. I don't think he could have gone much lower. I think he was already there on the right side door of Alex McCullum. I don't think he could have gone anywhere, and I think when Cody watches that back, he might realize that.
I think if we were to look at a replay, Andrew, I can tell you straight up, I think they already had made contact, Langford and McCullum. So really, respectively, for Steele Langford, there was truly nowhere left for him to go. He could have forced McCullum lower, but even then, I don't think Alex McCullum would have liked that too much. As we still see side by side Trevor Edwards and Jeremy Ashby. They're fighting pretty hard. Ashby's just going backwards now. I think this is where we're starting to see tires come into play, because now Alex McCullum's back on the charge. He's following his shop teammate in that 32 back to the front. So Edwards getting clear of that 0-1. McCullum now to the inside. Starting to see some gains, but as much as I say gains, Cole Cavery still the lone shop car out, and caution on the speedway.
That's a problem. Chris Horton turned around out of turn number 4.
Oh, no.
He was having a good day until he suddenly wasn't anymore. And this will come out about 40 laps before our halfway break, and it was Chris Horton and Cody Dempster. Oh, no. Dempster with all that damage from that incident a little bit ago with Steele Langford. Horton backing up, trying to stay out of him, and ends up hitting him, and they both go for a spin.
No. Feels like a commentator's curse for that one on Chris Horton.
Both of them. We both sung their praises, 50 laps ago?
Don't remind me. There's the contact once again. Horton really shouldn't have too much damage on that race car. I don't think Dempster should have too much damage on that race car either. And, you know, I've had the pleasure with racing with some of these guys. Cody Dempster especially. I've raced with him in the Victory Fuel 125 back in May. That was also broadcast here on Pit Stop TV. I know Dempster can drive these cars respectfully well, and to see him having these struggles right now is so hard to look at. You saw the damage right there on the front end of the 42 car of Horton, taking it to the security of the pit lane, and we're rolling up, Andrew. We're within about 40 laps of our stage break, so to see this happening now, I mean, this is just going to mean these guys are going backwards further on. You've still got 40 laps you have to contend with to hold on to these tires, and now you've superheated them by spinning around.
There's Dempster in the pit lane. There goes Horton to try and beat the pace car. He will just do so, along with Brad Carpenter. Josh Parrish also pitted under this yellow. But Dempster might be accepting his fate here. Unfortunate.
Looking through everything, I can see that nobody's got a black flag or anything, so Dempster's probably just sitting there fixing all of what would be optional repair work. See the left side of that car right behind the left front tire is bent in pretty well. Chris Horton managed to beat the pace car. So really, at this rate, it's just Dempster that's being stuck there, trying to fix any sort of damage repair he needs. But you got to feel for the man, Andrew. He was running up front, he had good speed, and now he's going to go laps down here.
Josh Parrish back into the pit lane. Well, that means we'll get the 1 to green signal and go back racing this next time by. Here's a quick look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. Next up, Bristol Motor Speedway for the Sim Wrap Market Series tomorrow night, October 16th. A Wednesday race from Bristol Motor Speedway should be a lot of fun. Then Sunday, it's the Icon Cup Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway before next Wednesday's race at Circuit of the Americas for the Sim Wrap Market Series. A lot of great racing coming up. A lot of oval racing for sure as Jacob Harberts leads us back to the restart zone, gets us back going green flag racing in the Myrtle Beach 400. Terzak and Thronberg, the fight for second place.
Side by side, coming off of turn number 4. Thronberg still holding tough on that inside line. Terzak. Oh, caution on the speedway is Terzak.
There's cars exploding in the background.
Oh my goodness.
I saw one car skyward, and I believe it was Keith Jeffrey.
Dempster involved again. Brad Carpenter, Souza, everybody.
It was actually Aaron Johnson that went skyward here. He gets a tip from Rocky Boyd into turn 3. That sets this whole bomb off. Johnson collects Boyd on the exit, and then everything goes awry. Dempster sends the 78 skyward right past the camera there. What a crash. Watch this again. Boyd tries to go to the inside. Big move there. Johnson blocks it off, but gets himself turned into the inside wall and then tries to hang on to it. On corner exit, makes some contact, and that shoves the 78 up into the wall. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Oh, lots of big smash em ups now. What was it? Used to be the same. Cautions breed cautions. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars at least involved in this one. Brad Carpenter came to a huge stop right there. What a great heads-up move. Oh my goodness. See the ball wrecking in front. Brad Carpenter says, I'm just gonna bring her to a stop. Let's go.
Love to see that kind of wreck avoidance out of a driver as everything just comes unhinged out ahead. Well, Zach, here's a look again at upcoming broadcasts for us at Pit Stop TV. Take us through your favorite and why.
I'm going to say all of them because they all have that great Cody Williams design on there. And, oh man, you got to love it. I love seeing these brand new paint schemes that are coming out from Cody Williams design. But Sim Wrap Market Series coming up at Bristol, Icon Cup Series coming up at Vegas. That's going to be a cutoff race for them. They've got 3 races left after that: Homestead, Martinsville, and Phoenix. So we're going to decide our final 4 in just, 5 days time now on Sunday. So can't wait to see what's going on. I know we had the technical difficulties when it came to the broadcasting, so we weren't able to see what transpired at the Roval, but I can tell you the point situation for that Sunday Cup Series is going to be a tight situation. I think it's 9 points of difference with Ryan Patty, the last car in, so can't wait for that. And then Wednesday, Circuit of the Americas. Always nice seeing these guys take on road courses in these Cup Series cars. So if I had to pick one out of the 3, Andrew, I would have to go with Vegas just because it's a cutoff race for the Icon Cup Series.
Heck yeah.
And decide that final 4.
Heck yeah, I agree.
But, like you're out atop the iRacing pace car, Andrew, these guys are doubled back up. All these drivers got damage repair. Oh, they're coming back to the green flag.
Back down to the restart zone. Harberts with the race lead and the hole shot for the restart. There it is. And boy, Turzak was caught sleeping. Nearly 3 wide for a moment as they worked down into turn 1. Turzak was caught sleeping. Whoa, the 32 hangs it out sideways. That was Trevor Edwards, the inside of Jeremy Ashby. We're coming up on, well, that was 30 to go. At least in the first half of this race. That was 30 to go to the halfway break.
Turzak very lucky that he did not get caught up and going further backwards in this jumbled up mess of a restart. We see Trevor Edwards on the inside of Jeremy Ashby trying to see if he can hold on to that race car. And Alex McCullum's right behind. Look at the top 10 though. Jake Grout, Rocky Boyd, Steele Langford, they're all up there trying to hang on. Rocky Boyd is probably the furthest up he's been all night. Cole Cabry finally cracking the top 10. He's up into the 10th spot, trying to push himself forward.
Ashby, whoa!
Racetrack, he hangs on to it.
Did he hit the wall? I don't think so.
Did.
He did.
He caught it with the right rear just about. It looks like that car is going to keep on rolling. You see right behind though, Rocky Boyd continuing to sink further down the running order. He might get caught on the outside of a 3-wide scenario here. Steele Langford's looking to the inside, and there it is. Almost 3 wide. Rocky's going to try to fall in to the inside of Cole Cabry. He goes, and he's going to try to take back that 9th spot, but Cabry gets a big run. But look at that nose damage, Andrew. You just circled it there. I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, that's pretty significant for Cole Cabry. To have that damage this early as Steele Langford gets the wall, to have that damage this early for Cole Cabry, a heavy hitter in this series, that's a big deal.
That it is, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. These shop drivers are pretty resilient, not to mention we are just about within 25 laps to go of our stage break, and he's going to be able to take 4 tires, and the beauty of the iRacing sim, you're able to get some of that damage fixed while you're getting tires changed, so I'm assuming that Cabry's not all too worried about as Turzak takes a look to the inside of Thronberg. This for the 2nd spot. Almost contact coming off the corner, and Turzak still having a look to the inside. He wasn't completely there. That was Thronberg's corner, but he's going to be the gentleman here and give that inside to Turzak and keep fighting on that top line.
Turzak still on the inside of Blake Thronberg. You see the ghost kind of paint scheme there for Thronberg. Love that look. Gotta watch out for him. He might be good enough for the race win here at the end as he hangs on here for 2nd place. Will not let it go to Turzak. Either one of these two having a fantastic day, could be a threat for this win later on today. I say that though as Alex McCullum fires back through the field. We should have known. We should have known he was just saving tires. We talked about it even. We thought maybe he could be, but it just didn't quite look like it. Sure enough. Oh, Alex McCullum, I don't know how he does it.
Like I said earlier, he's got something that we don't know about. You see Ashby, not Ashby, that was Keith Jeffrey who just went a lap down in that race car. That's
that got close. Thronberg. Oh, wow. And Jeffrey puts it in the wall to get missed. Thronberg dropped an anchor to try and get by that lap car, try to turn left and get as close to Turzak as possible. Turzak able to use that lap car as a pick, and now McCullum fights the inside of Thronberg for 3rd spot.
I think Jeffrey should have ran a bit of a higher line. He had leaders coming up on him, and that really helped Turzak get in that spot completely all to himself, that he can set sail and go after Jacob Harbour. It's McCullum now to the inside, Robertson right behind. They're trying to push forward, Thronberg trying to hang on. And I don't know, Andrew, that was a whole convoluted scenario. You saw Robertson pop one of those curbs back there, 3-1 and 2. Side by side still they run, but I think McCullum might get clear here, give him about another lap or maybe a corner. Thronberg taps the wall, gets a little loose out of 4, and it's McCullum's corner going into turn number 1.
Thronberg slides in behind the 31 of Chase Robertson and will have to accept 5th place for now. So that kind of sorts that out. Look at Jake Grout who's fired through this field. I don't know where he came from. Started 16th, was as low as 17th for a while. Comes back up through the field and is up into 7th now. Looking for 6th on the 32 here of Trevor Edwards. That might be another car to watch out for as this race progresses.
You never know. There's so much going up and down in this entire race, Andrew. I think, what is it that they usually say when it comes to tire races? The guys you see in the top 10 right now are not going to be the guys in the top 10 at the end of the race, but I mean, we're rolling to the end of the stage break, and at the same time, as these guys have been the ones saving tires the best, they just might be the ones that are in the top 10 at the end of the race. Now Cole Cabry is making a charge. He's up to 8th, Andrew. He's trying to pass for 7th. He's got his shop teammate Trevor Edwards right in front. Seems like Trevor Edwards has remained relatively stable throughout this entire run, whereas McCullum and Cabry faded early on, and now they're on the charge at the end of the stage.
11 laps to go this time by in the first half of this race. Harbert's out to a 1.4 second lead over Terzak. Grout is able to get by Edwards. Edwards now falling back as McCullum actually falls back to the 4th position behind Chase Robertson. Cabry on the outside of Edwards. Cabry moves on by. He just continues to drive through this field. I don't know where this is coming from. He was down in 20th at one point. 20th spot, now 7th.
Seems like the caution's really played in his favor. Up to the 7th spot. He's on a charge. We've got 10 to go here in the stage, Andrew, to gain a little bit more track position. And I will say, having that track position is going to be mega important going into the restart as we will roll into stage 2. I think he might get Jake Grout here. Honestly, he might get Blake Throneberg, because Throneberg has been dropping considerably. He is nowhere close to McCullum now, other than maybe a few tenths away. So we'll see how the rest of the race plays out for these drivers. But I think the one thing we need to really consider is, regardless of how good you're saving tires, regardless of how good you think your car is right now, do you have enough to go after Harberts, who is now just about 2 seconds in front of Kyle Terzak?
Well, you know, my thing about this race is, while it is one whole race, it's really 2 smaller races. As Matt Rolfe goes by Justin Crowe, Rolfe now into the top 10. It's really 2 smaller races, 125 apiece. And that second race really ends up being 120 when you consider the caution laps. But it's 2 smaller races, and you can set up however you want to, but in my opinion, you look at this race being split down the middle evenly, a set of tires in between. You're able to treat the first half like a race and learn. Hey, this worked, this didn't work. This saving this much work, this didn't work. Here we go, 3 wide. Rolfe on the inside, that's Cabry in the middle, Jake Grout up top, and they hold it through turns 3 and 4. There's still 3 wide off the corner. There's still 3 wide into the next corner. There's still 3 wide right behind Blake Throneberg. Now finally there's a caution, and everything comes unraveled once again. Who is slow? It's Jeremy Ashby.
That is unfortunate for Jeremy Ashby.
He was struggling. He had gone a lap down. You see him here.
Actually wondering what happened. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that car, and he just pulls it right up to the top side. He just came to a stop. And then he towed. I can't imagine. Oh! Jeremy Ashby has actually told us his right front tire died. It blew on him.
I was wondering. I was starting to wonder if he lost a tire. I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong. But this is going to bring everybody to pit lane. This is going to serve as the halfway break. Everybody in the pits, except for Derek Robinson.
Did I say right front tire?
You did.
Right rear tire, excuse me.
Harberts is not first out. It's Terzak. Terzak is first off the pit lane.
you got to think about the pit time, how long they spent their box, how fast they were able to get to their box. So many little things that can change it. Oh, Robertson beating in the pit lane, more than likely checking on that.
I think Harbert's just had him. I don't think it was a penalty. I think he just...
Yeah, no penalty from what it looks like. The only driver with a penalty right now is actually Kyle Souza. Not sure what the penalty's for, but Souza not on the racetrack right now. He's 28 laps down, so it's got to be something that happened previously. Aaron Johnson is the first car 1 lap down. He's 2 laps down, actually, so definitely something that probably happened previously, just now noticing it. Other than that, nobody really has any sort of black flags. You see Horton staying out to get a lap back. You see Terzak is out in front. Oh boy.
That is huge for Kyle Terzak. Huge.
We're setting this up for a good run to the end. I mean, you look at the top 10, really. Terzak, McCullum, Harbert's 3rd now, Robertson's 4th, Cabry's up to 5th, Jake Grout's, Jake Grout is 6th, Throneberg is 7th, Crow in 8th, Langford in 9th.
Robertson coming back in.
Oh boy.
Unsure as to why.
He's got an EOL penalty.
Wow.
No, excuse me. Chase Robertson does not have an EOL penalty. Derek Robinson has an EOL penalty.
Well, that's because he stayed out initially, but this is a little bit confusing to me.
Jeremy Ashby's been given.
He's not the only one that came back in. Look who else came back in. Trevor Edwards.
I was about to say, Trevor Edwards back in the pit lane. Ashby's been given the EOL for causing the caution, but he's still stuck on the pit lane after having to tow. He's 4 laps down, off the pace. That's going to take some cautions to get that back. Real big shakeup at the end of stage number 1, going into stage 2 now. So there's a lot to be desired now when it comes to this restart, Andrew, and I don't know. Terzak did something right in the pit lane, and now he's going to restart this race in the lead.
Here we go. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is the second half now of the Myrtle Beach 400. Kyle Terzak going to lead us to the green for the first time tonight. First lead change. It happens in the pit lane. Will it be the only lead change? Green flag back in the air at Myrtle Beach. There you see Terzak out to a lead. Cabry shuts the door on Jake Grout. Side by side, 2 of the best. Harberts and McCullum for 2nd. McCullum gives it up.
Single file now, top 4. Cabry has a little bit of an outside car hanging. That's Throneberg, but it looks like he's going to get clear. We've got 1 car pitting in under the green flag. I'm not sure who. Taking a look through. But someone just called out that they hit the pit lane. Oh, it is Carpenter.
Yeah, Brad Carpenter hit the pit lane here, unfortunately. Oh boy, Jacob Harberts. He wants this back. He lost the race lead in the pit lane. That's the only pass we've seen for first place. And he wants to get it back away from Kyle Terzak here. He's going to burn the tires to do it.
How hard do you fight, Andrew? How hard do you try to hang on to it? Do you want to? This is your last set of tires. You do not want to abuse it now.
He's going to. Here he comes to the inside of Terzak. A big fight right here. Harberts on the inside. Terzak on the outside. Contact for the race lead.
If I was Terzak, I would not fight. You've got Alex McCullum waiting in the wind. He wants to see this happen. He wants to see them fight. Fall in line. Save these tires. Don't sit on that outside line for too long. You're just going to use your stuff up. Then again, he could be pinching Harberts down there, so he uses his stuff up. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but with the little banking that is here at Myrtle Beach, I can't imagine hanging tough out there is going to do him any good. Terzak has the nose in front once again, but Harberts is still there as we roll past the start-finish line.
Still side by side, wheel to wheel for the race lead. You see him fighting in the background. Throneberg and Grout for 5th. But Terzak trying to hold Jacob Harberts at bay. He's done so for a while already. Look at how long he's held him down there, holding the 80 car up. Harberts is undoubtedly faster, but if you're able to hold this guy up and hold him back for right now, this is a big statement later on for what you can do if you have the track position.
Looks like Terzak might actually get clear here, Andrew. Off of turn number 2. He's got a small run. Barely
Shut
clear.
that door, yes.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Take that line away. Kyle Terzak. Beautiful defense over Jacob Harberts. He's going to hang on to that race lead. You don't look too soon. Oh, he shuts the door again. Terzak hanging tough. He does not want to lose this one. There's Carpenter out in front. He's a couple of laps down now after having to go into the pit lane. Carpenter 3 laps down completely. A couple of drivers.
Oh, here we go.
Lap down.
A move for the race lead again. Harberts back to the inside. He hung and left on the straightaway, and what a call that was to make that move into the inside of turn 1. Terzak just has to deal with it and trying to hold him at bay. Just has to try and keep holding him there. Hold him at that left rear. Hold him back. Shuts the door here to turn 1. Wasn't going to let that happen again.
He wants it, Andrew. You can tell just how bad that Terzak wants this win. But he's not going to win it on lap 140 of 250. But he is going to be able to set himself up for the rest of the race by holding on and proving that he can pull some defenses. Here we go again. Harberts to the inside.
Terzak holds him off again. Rinse repeat for the race lead at Myrtle Beach. Brad Carpenter just up the road. That could play into this.
Look at them. They've really pulled out in front of Alex McCullum. 1.2 seconds.
Well, yeah,
from
McCullum.
Harberts to McCullum.
McCullum's in a really lucky spot. He's got all this track position. He's got Caber right behind him, a teammate. They're able to both save and back up the entire field and make the entire field save. Or at least fall back thinking they're saving. While these two go and race it out for the race lead. That was nearly contact into 1.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Harbert's back to the inside of Terzak down into 3. And we'll fall back.
At some point, when do you start to think, how long do we stay fighting like this? Maybe just be a little bit more patient. Hold on to the tires.
That might be what they're doing now in real time. They've run 15 laps like this.
I say they've jumped out in front of Alex McCullum by such a huge margin. But at the same time, I think Alex started to realize that if they're going to fight, he can just save these tires.
Well, what a fun fight it was. It fizzles out for the time being. Terzak with the race lead. Harbert's second, right on his coattails. And McCullum starting to reel them back in. Here comes Harbert's back to the inside.
Another move there, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it done. Terzak going to clear on the front straightaway, and he'll have a run to build a small gap. Harbert's a shallower entry into the corner. This is a tight race for this lead, Andrew. How long do they stay fighting like this? Because Alex McCullum is just sitting there saying, burn the stuff up. I'm ready. I'm sitting waiting in the wind. We've got just over 100 laps to go.
Coming up on 100 laps to go in the Myrtle Beach 400. Harbert's back to the inside. Contact there in a 3. That slides the 96 up the racetrack. And there, the door is shut again. Oh, Terzak got the rumble strip on the inside. That's going to open the door now for turn 3. Here comes Harbert's. The door gets shut again. Contact again. This is all for the race lead. There's great fighting in the background, but we can't leave this. For position number 1, we just can't leave these two.
The fight rages on. But I think the person singing praises right now is Brad Carpenter, because they're not catching him to put him 4 laps down. This fighting is just allowing him to drive away and hold on to the laps down he's already got. And Harbert's searching around, finding where he can put that car. Here's another run, look to the inside. Can't quite get there.
And these guys keep falling back to Alex McCollum in the one car. What they gain when they run single file, they lose when they run side by side. Oh man, Harbert's with a big catch. Here he goes back to the inside of Turzak. Had a big run from turn 4 to turn 1. Contact between the two. And that might do it.
He's got a nose.
That might do it for Harbert's. Turzak fights back. He's not letting this go easily. What a run.
Oh my goodness, this is probably one of the best races we've seen all season, Andrew. These guys are not giving up. Harbert's gets it in turn number 2, but Turzak is better in turn number 4. Into 3, he's got the nose, he sends it deep. And off of turn number 4, he's gonna do it potentially. Not clear yet, still side by side into turn number 1.
And just inside now
Harbert's
with 100 laps to go. Harbert's still on the inside of Turzak. This will be 95 to go this time by.
He washed up inside of 1 and 2, and Turzak is clear again into turn number 1. 95 laps to go at Myrtle Beach, and now they're nose to nose again. And somehow Alex McCollum has not caught any further. In fact, they've pulled away, but I think that just means more that they have burned these tires up, and McCollum is realizing he can save even more. He's got a teammate right behind him that's not going to push. And now Harbert's back to the inside once again of, oh my goodness, of Turzak, and they are just so close together.
Oh, Turzak shuts the door there, closes it aggressively. That allows Harbert to get to the outside. That might actually be a nail in the coffin for Turzak's race lead. That puts Harbert in the position to use the corner exit.
Turzak has to rotate well. That he will. Gets up the racetrack. Not quite clear. Oh, I think he's going to try to pull a game of self-clear right there, but he's going to be clear of Harbert's now. But a crossover move off the corner, looking to the inside, and now here we go once again, side by side for the race lead. Nose to nose going into turn number 1. Big wiggle out of Harbert's.
Still making contact all the way to the backstretch. Now to turn 3, big contact between these two. Harbert's pushes Turzak up the racetrack into the corner, and they find it. Wow, they somehow find a way to get out of the corner, and there's the caution. More contact as the yellow comes out. Steele Langford is in trouble. That was in the middle of the top 10. Justin Crowe, Chase Robertson.
Oh my goodness. I don't know about you, Andrew, but I don't think I've ever been so sad to see a caution come out.
Oh, man. Well, here it is. Robertson, Langford, and Crowe all involved. They check up ahead. Langford checks up. Robertson didn't get the memo. That's simple. There's a checkup between Grout and Thronberg. The 33 saw it, nobody else did, and that's a pretty easy caution to call out right there. Although Chase Robertson needs to put the brakes on. Kyle Turzak is able to hang on to the race lead through all of this. This is going to bring McCollum back into the fray. Under this caution, I want to give a big shout out, a big thank you to all the partners with the series. Boyd's Automotive, Crow Sim Shots, Davis Chassis Works, DriverTees.com, Fast AF Designs, Hyde's Pride Leather and Sheepskin, International Short Track Association, Jeff By Jr. Art, Justin Brooks Designs, Matthews Designs, 1-8 Coffee Company and 1-8 Racing Media, Pedley's Garage Incorporated, Pierce Fleet Service, Race1Wraps.com, RS Center Trucking, SARA Next Gen Templates, SimWrapMarket.com, Sousa Media, Studio 10 Wraps, and Toxic Media Solutions. Also a big nod to our partners with the channel. Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Designs. You see a handful of cars pitting out of this caution. Those going to include Brad Carpenter, Chase Robertson, it looks like, is in the pit lane. Cody Dempster, RJ Williams, I think, was in the pits.
Yeah, just saw RJ Williams coming out of the pit lane right there.
Rocky
There you
Boyd
see
as
Rocky
well.
Boyd, RJ Williams, there's Brad Carpenter. I think Carpenter was the free pass, not sure, but can confirm Chase Robertson out of this race. That's a tough blow for that driver. RJ Williams might have just gotten back on the lead lap. Rocky Boyd, the first car, 1 lap down now. He's back in the pit lane. Aaron Johnson, 2 laps down. Brad Carpenter still 3 laps down. So really, it's the race between those 3 when it comes to lucky dogs. But other than that, we're all set. We're ready to rock and roll, get them right back running. Hopefully Rocky can get back out of the pit lane and back onto the racetrack by the time the green flag drops.
Here we go. 85 laps to go this time by. Kyle Terzak, Jacob Harberts, Alex McCullum, Cole Cabry, Jake Grout, your top 5. Restart zone, green flag back in the air in the Myrtle Beach 400. And Harberts led back to the stripe. Terzak needs to get cleared quick.
Sliding through 3 and 4. He slides up the racetrack, Andrew. They're going to be side by side coming off the corner. Give the lap to Terzak. Might get clear here.
He's trying to, not quite. Gonna try to again down here in 3 and 4. Tries to clear that 80 car, not quite clear. Harbert's hanging on the outside.
He's trying with all he can. But Harbert's not able to get there. Terzak still not clear. Off of turn number 2.
There it is. Clear finally.
Crossover,
Harbert's cuts the wheel down. And Harbert's gonna have a big run into turn 1. A big run. Gets the nose ahead, slides up the racetrack a little bit at corner center. And whoa! Contact nearly. Up the racetrack again. Harbert's kind of crowds him up there a little bit. Terzak nearly gets the wall. And McCullum continues to watch on, knowing that these two are using their tires.
I think that's going to be the big deciding factor, is how these guys decide to use up their tires.
Well, the call at this point, the play has been made, right? For these two leading, they just want the track position and then to hold on. To try and hang on to everything they've got. McCullum is starting to fall into that, I think. He's starting to use his stuff. I don't know why you would yet. You see him clawing into this fight. I don't think this is the time. Let these two continue to do this. See how long they can do it and how long they can burn their tires up and how quickly you can go by later as there's more contact between these two for the race lead.
Race for the lead has got to be the best battle we've seen in the last 3-4 races. These guys have been nothing but trouble to each other. And Harbert's, he's got to be using the tires up more with how much he's sliding, trying to fight past Terzak. But I think Terzak wants to make it a clean sweep. He said it. He won the mini stock. He won the late model, or what was it?
Street stock
feature. So he wants to make it a sweep.
Shuts the door down there in turn 1. Harbert's kept at bay. Side by side in the background, Thronberg and Grout. But this light blue late model stock car continues to just captivate us. On to lap 175 of 250. This time by, it'll be 75 laps to go. Edwards now on the inside of Jake Grout. They fight side by side. And nearly make some contact. Right now, they sit in front of Steele Langford, then Josh Parrish. What a turnaround for Parrish. He was way off the pace earlier in this race. About to go a lap down. comes out here in the second half of this race and runs in the top 10. I mean, that is a big turnaround. I've never seen that out of somebody.
He's making a comeback, and it's nice to see. Like I said earlier, I think the top 10 is going to flip quite a bit. You see Kyle Myers in the top 10. You see Langford fought his way back up. A lot of drivers we didn't expect to see up here. I know Matt Rolfe was up here earlier. He's dropped back a little bit further down the running order into the 15th spot. Cavery's up to 4th. Lots of great things going on throughout the racetrack.
Let's go on board of Jacob Harberth as he continues to wheel right behind Kyle Turzak. I think he's realized the position they're in. They don't want to open the door to Alex McCullum to try and spoil this. They might need to run single file for a little while. So McCullum pushing up to them might actually help them save tires. Isn't that crazy? Oh, there's contact between the two race leaders. Harberth jacks Turzak up. And Harberth dives into turn 1, trying to take it away from Turzak. After that big contact, Turzak, he will not let this go easy. He already hasn't. He's been fighting for laps on laps. And nearly gets the wall there off of turn 4.
Place your bets and place them now. Who wins this race? Turzak, Harberth, McCullum, or somebody else? My money's on somebody else.
These top 3 could wad it up easily. There it is! Thronberg goes around. Big crash. Spencer Dickinson just
Langford,
smashes into the
Dempster.
back end of that car. There's the 88 of Kyle Meyer around. Dickinson got a big piece of that. Here you go. Thronberg right behind Cavery. Edwards just tags the 22. Meyer takes a big hit.
Oh, boy.
That's
got to be a
hit,
right front
though.
disconnected on Dickinson. Yeah, Dickinson's got a meatball flag. Hamilton's got a meatball flag. Both these drivers just out of this race.
That's Dickinson's wheel. We'll watch it from the blimp cam. Jake Grout checks up big time. That's where Meyer gets into it, trying to check up. Josh Parrish gets a piece. Chris Horton just kind of slides through, gets a little piece of it. Dempster gets into Langford. That's that. Well, how about Kyle Turzak? Do we think he can hang on?
He's got to at this point. He has to. He's put up too much of a fight to give up now. The man has been out in front since we've gone back green, and he does not want to give this up. He wants this sweep.
Certainly doesn't want to give it up, but man, I just don't know how much more these tires can take. It'll be a lot of fun, though, to find out who wins this race, who goes to victory lane. Is there some more drivers in the pit lane? This is going to be Rocky Boyd, RJ Williams in the pits. Looks like, who is that right behind? Is that the black car? It's Keith Jeffrey. Blake Thronberg also pitted under this yellow, along with Justin Crow. And And finally, that would also include Trevor Edwards. No, rather Kyle Meyer in the pit lane under this yellow. Pace car lights are still on, meaning we've got one more trip around the speedway before we go green. Want to welcome in season champion to the YouTube chat of the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. Mason Houseman is here in the YouTube chat. Won the championship here on Pit Stop TV a week ago. A week ago today, actually. So congratulations to Mason Houseman and welcome into the YouTube chat. Let's see what these guys can get done here. A little over 60 laps to go. It'll be 62 at the stripe. So 1/4 of this race to go. This time by. Wait for it in the restart zone. Terzak, Harberts, McCullum, Cabry, Parrish are top 5. Green flag back in the air. See that light blue 96 out ahead. Harberts trying to hang on his right rear. Nearly contact off the corner. 1 lap complete off the green flag.
Still hanging on the quarter panel now. McCullum to the inside of Harberts. So Harberts for the first time tonight has to deal with somebody other than Kyle Terzak in this race in the lead, as McCullum is now getting clear of that 8-0 machine, but the outside line still prevailing.
Yeah, this is going to take a lot of pressure off of Kyle Terzak for a little bit. Let him try and run out to a lead. But McCullum should go through pretty quickly. He's been saving his stuff compared to these two. They've run side by side since the drop of the green flag for this second half of the race. Some 70 laps ago nearly. 60 laps ago. And now Harbert's still on the outside of the 1 car of McCullum. I think this was Harbert's race to lose. I really do. I think he had the wrong strategy here to fight so much with Kyle Terzak. He had this race just about won in the first half. Fought a whole bunch on this set of tires. And I don't think he goes to victory lane anymore. I think he would have if he had kept that same strategy, staying out ahead. Or at least saving his tires, but...
what I brought up earlier, Andrew, you got to decide when it's right to fight and when it's not, because they stay fighting for so long. And now Alex McCullum and Cole Cabry have reeled them in. Even Jake Grout, he's pulled them in. Look at Josh Parrish, too. He's up to 6th. Phil Langford's been involved in 3 wrecks tonight. He's in 7th, and then it's Horton, Robinson, and Rolfe right now. So we're really setting these guys up for a race to the end. This could be Terzak's race to lose now. Harberts and Terzak probably have the same amount of tire as McCullum looks on to try and take this race lead away.
Both of these drivers, I would say, have this thing, this track figured out. I think, is that fair?
I think it's pretty fair to say, as Terzak shuts the door again on Alex McCullum. Well, ladies and gentlemen, grab yourself a slice of pizza, some popcorn, maybe pop a soda, or as some of these drivers from the northwestern area would call it, a pop. Grab a pop and sit back, because we got 53 laps left to cover here on Pit Stop TV. The race still heating up. Terzak, McCullum, Harberts, Cabry, Grout, your top 5. And, well, Andrew, they've pulled away from the majority of the field. Parrish is separated from Grout by a slim margin in a single file racing like we've seen most of the night. There's a couple battles going on throughout the field. You see a couple of drivers hanging on that top line, but majority are hanging on the bottom. See a couple of cars hitting the wall on the back straightaway. I don't know about you, but I've thoroughly enjoyed sitting in the booth here with you tonight.
It's been a lot of fun. A really fun race. You know, at the start of this thing, I was thinking, man, this is going to take a long time to get in. But it really has gone by at a flash. It's
been about an hour.
Yeah, we've been live now for an hour and 43 minutes. That's from 9 p.m. or I think 9:03 or so.
I saw them drop the green flag, I think, roughly around 9:20. 9:15?
No, so the warm-up session was advanced, I believe, at 9:28. So we went racing probably around 9:32, 9:33, something like that. And it's now 10:47, so an hour and 15 minutes, we'll say. And we've run 200 laps. We're inside now, 50 laps to go. And Alex McCullum turns left there at this flag stand, turns to the inside of Kyle Turzak, nearly gets there that time and won, holds himself back from making any kind of brash decision. But the top 5 is broken away from the field. Still Langford sits back in 6th, then Josh Parrish, Chris Horton, Matt Rolfe, Derek Robinson is in the top 10. Everything is unhinged from 6th on back. A lot of damaged race cars, a lot of guys just hanging on. Matt Rolfe has the cleanest cars, 6th or worse at this point.
See Chris Horton back up in the top 10, I will say, after getting involved in a couple incidents. And hold on, I'm just going to do a knock on wood real quick so I don't jinx it, but I hope he gets a few more positions.
Here comes McCullum again, gonna turn left of the flag stand and get down inside of Turzak. Contact nearly into 1. Wow, they got close. I don't know how these guys do it. I simply don't know.
I'm hearing something going on between Dempster and Langford right now. Or not Langford, Throneberg. Something's going on between the two of them right now as we stay on board with McCullum here. Took a look. Very, very close to Turzak here. Gonna have him on the quarter panel going down the front straightaway. He's gonna hang it left as far as he can to stay on the inside.
Contact!
Turzak is insane.
Oh, McCullum nearly hooked him. Trying to hang on to that race car. So Turzak hangs on just a little bit longer. 42 to go. I don't think McCullum will take too much of that. I know he's got the championship lead and all. Everything looks all hunky-dory for him, but that's just for the championship. He wants to win these races. And he's got just as much a right as anybody else to fight for these race wins. To fight for every position on the racetrack and get everything he can out of these races to the end. That's what he's doing. 40 laps to go this time by. Golly, I love that speed shot. Car is coming straight at you.
Speed shot has got to be one of my favorite camera angles. Absolutely gotta love it.
Here especially. The way they drive straight at the camera for a moment. Watch this. Straight at the camera. Oh, man. So cool. Myrtle Beach Speedway was just so cool. If we could have just taken this and moved it somewhere else that was a little bit less desirable real estate, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just following a little. It's following the same path as a lot of these other short tracks have, where even big tracks like Auto Club Speedway, that the real estate is just too great to give up. And you know, you see so many real estate developers wanting to put houses and other sort of shops in. It's happening with multiple racetracks. You had Freedom Factory run by Cletus McFarland. They have had struggles with trying to keep real estate agents away and whatnot. They've done a good job so far, and they're fighting to hold on to their land. You see Greenville Pickett Speedway, they have fallen into disarray and actually got sold off. But it's come to my attention that there are a few people moving from the New York area into South Carolina, a few people that are in the area of Greenville Pickens that want to save that racetrack, that want to keep it alive, and hopefully continue the traditions we've seen from a lot of grassroots racing stars.
Caution!
Caution is out on the speedway.
Rocky Boyd turned around outside of turn 2.
That's going to prevent him from getting the free pass, Andrew. He was laps down. Actually, no, excuse me. Rocky Boyd's back on the lead lap. He is back on the lead lap as of right now. We saw Spencer Dickinson head back to the pit lane.
Oh man, Josh Parrish had fallen back. He must have got the wall at some point. And he's going to end up turning the 16 car around. Big hit.
I'm sure Rocky's not too happy about that one. And, you know, ironically enough, Andrew, I recently started, you know, hanging around with Rocky and a few of his other buddies recently, and we had a fun night on iRacing and just having fun in legend cars and having some good old times. And him and a bunch of his buddies, they watched the Pit Stop TV broadcast, and they've always had a couple of suggestions to run by. None that come to me off the top of my head, but they're always so supportive of everything they see when it comes to, you know, the SARA Super Series and everything that goes on when it comes to Pit Stop TV. So it's hard. It sucks to see Rocky have some struggles.
Watching back a little bit extra, this is the onboard with Rocky Boyd. You can see they made a little bit of contact there in 3 and 4. And a little more contact on the front stretch. And then Parrish sends it in, and really Rocky sent it in and then parked it, and Parrish got into him as a result. Talking more about Myrtle Beach Speedway and the surrounding area and why it was bought up and whatnot. If you look at the scenic views here, right around the racetrack, you see all those simulated houses and mobile homes and everything right around the racetrack, right off the back straight. I mean, the neighborhood always butted right up against the back straight here at Myrtle Beach, and there was development literally just around the property in every direction at the time that it was closed. Everything just built up around the racetrack and kind of absorbed it. Initially, this racetrack was set out just like most racetracks, set outside of town a little bit, out in the boonies, just a hair, and just far enough out that, you know, it's out away from everything. It's not bothering anybody, but it's close enough to get to on a Saturday night. It's reasonable to get to. And then everything just kept building and booming and getting bigger and bigger around Myrtle Beach and developing around this racetrack. And so many racetracks have had this problem. It takes being an established racetrack like the Charlotte Motor Speedway, for example, to outlast that development and integrate with that development. It's a big NASCAR track. It has X amount of races a year, not a whole lot. The citizens around it, they know they deal with it. In the case of Myrtle Beach, it's just a little bit lower of a headline kind of racetrack. It was easier for locals to get out of to get the racetrack out of there and to win that battle. And unfortunately, it's still an empty lot. They haven't really done anything with the land, but we'll talk more about that later on as we're about to take 30 laps to go in this Myrtle Beach 400. Waiting on the green flag, and there it is. Terzak back on the loud pedal. And Terzak gets clear straight away of McCullum. McCullum fights back on the outside and gets right to the back bumper of Kyle Terzak and jacks him up, puts him in the wall hard. And Terzak brings it right back down, 4 wide into the corner. McCullum.
Oh, boy.
McCullum just moved Kyle Terzak to take the race lead.
That was sketchy stuff. Terzak had been leading for so long, and now he's still inside the top 5. But now this race is shaken on its head. Harberts back up to 2nd. Cabry into 3rd. Grout up to 4th.
Harberts and Cabry is the next best fight. McCullum is now out there alone. Closing in on 25 to go. That will not be a popular move.
I don't think it will. But Cabry now trying to find a way to 2nd. Grout stuck up on the high side. Terzak's trying to mount a comeback. 26 laps to go. Grout almost tags the wall. That's going to give Terzak the open opportunity to keep that nose down there and hopefully get a spot back now.
You know, there's a lot of rules in the Sim Auto Racing Association. A lot of them around contact for the race lead. And I wonder if that's looked at, and if that ends up coming back on Alex McCullum later on. Of course, we're just going to go off of what happens at the Speedway tonight. So if McCullum crosses the start-finish line first, guess what? He's the race winner for the night. But I wonder if that incident comes back later on, and Terzak is able to fight for that, and maybe that win gets taken away if McCullum continues on into the race win, because that was it wasn't egregious contact, like it wasn't a bump into the corner or anything, but it was contact, and it moved the 96 at the racetrack, and it moved him into the wall. And that's rare to see out of Alex McCullum, but it happened.
What is it? What is it that everyone says? There is, you may be cleared legally, but there's always the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
And who knows what everyone's going to say.
I think at the core, it's good, hard racing. I don't think anything was intended by that, certainly. I mean, it's that they're in the throttle, getting up out of the corner. But McCullum is in control of his race car, and it's his job not to hit the car that he's passing. So at the core of it, while it's good, hard racing, that's on Alex. And I hate for him that a 7th potential win is going to be shrouded by that move, by that little bit of contact. But it's you can't look past it, because Kyle Turzak put on nearly 100 laps of perfect defense until that right there, where he gets hit and gets taken up to the outside wall. McCullum goes by as a result. Now 20 laps to go, and he's got very little fight from behind.
$19 to go. Harbert's chasing down McCullum. Cabry sitting in the wind. They're pulling away now, Andrew. This race is not over, but at the same time, you could honestly say at this rate, it could be.
It's definitely heavily in the one car's favor. I mean, inside of 20 to go, you got McCullum leading in a late model race on iRacing. It's going to be hard to beat that. Harbert's second, though, might be the best chance anybody has to beat this one car. Problem is, he burned his tires out racing with Turzak earlier on.
I don't think Harbert's going to have anything for Alex McCullum. This is what I was saying earlier. They sat back more than a second from the leaders and let them drive away. So they've got the tires. Cabry and McCullum have the tires, but it looks like Cabry didn't save as much as McCullum did.
Or you just can't put it to as good a use. I mean, these shop cars have all been good, but one has been better, and it's the one car. And I wonder how much of that is setup and how much of that is driver. 15 to go. These guys are out to a big lead. The next fight is right back here. Matt Rolfe now to the inside of Kyle Turzak. This for 5th place. Matt Rolfe working on the top 5. How about that?
That's nice to see, actually. Rolfe has been one of the drivers that hasn't always been inside the top 10, but to see him up here now, that's great. He could get a top 5, too. Route right in front. That could be 4th right there. He was up in front at Oxford. I've been wanting to see this guy get up there for a race win for a while now, and hopefully he's able to get up there for maybe even a top 3.
Nearing 10 laps to go. These guys fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all the way back through Trevor Edwards. And Kyle Meyer sits back. Blake Thronberg still Langford your top 10. Turzak going to make it 3 wide to the inside of Jake Grout. Matt Rolfe gets bullied down there a little bit. Side-by-side contact right at 10 laps to go nearly for the 4th position. And Rolfe is going to have the spot, it looks like, maybe. No. He slides back in a hurry. He lifted way early for turn 3. Grout way up there. Turzak might win this little fight.
He might. That outside line has prevailed more than once. It looks like he's going to get a run here on that outside line. Rolfe is hanging on. I don't know, Andrew. It's still tight. It's still too close to call, but I think a lot of these guys are going to be sitting waiting in the wind. Meyer actually might benefit from these guys fighting for a while.
Oh, he has already. He has closed in a bunch. That was 10 laps to go there. Matt Rolfe with 4th. Kyle Turzak 5th. Trevor Edwards 6th. Jake Grout 7th. Kyle Meyer 8th. That's your fight on screen. Oh, contact!
Ooh, contact.
Turzak and Edwards.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Oh, man. What a day it's been here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure to follow along for everything Pit Stop TV on our social media, links down below. We've still got 7 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach. Anything could happen. We could have another caution. We could rack these guys back up.
At this rate, with how spread out the field is, Andrew, do you even expect a caution to come out as Harberts is sitting there trying to hunt down Alex McCullum? This ain't the first time we've seen Harberts try to hunt down Alex McCullum. He's been in contention for championship points for a while, but didn't fall his way this season. He's definitely out of the running at the moment, but a race win on the resume is still up for grabs.
5 laps to go, that time by Kyle Turzak sinking back now behind Kyle Meyer. That car struggling. 4 laps to go this time. There is a lap car ahead. But Jacob Harberts, if he's got something, it has to happen now. You can't rely on a caution. You're right on board with Jacob Harberts running second. Started this race from pole position, led the entire first half of the race up to that halfway break. Was passed up in the pit lane. I think that's the only reason he's losing this race. Was passed up in the pit lane by Kyle Turzak. Turzak and Harberts put on the best fight we've seen in a long time here on iRacing in general, let alone the Sim Auto Racing Association. A fantastic fight of defense from the 15 car. Held Harberts at bay. They both burned up their tires. Now, with a lap and a half to go, that lap car gets out of the way. That was Derek Robinson. And Harberts is just not close enough. White flag this time by for Alex McCullum.
He has put on, I was going to say he's put on a clinic, but he really hasn't been up front the majority of the race. But he's been up front when it counts. And he knows how to get stuff done, and it looks like Alex McCullum is going to send that car off into turn number 4 and bring her home.
Checkered flag, Alex McCullum at Myrtle Beach Speedway. He wins the SARA Myrtle Beach 400.
Harberts second, Cabry, Rolf made it to 4th. There's no stopping Alex McCullum, Andrew.
But
you
Kyle
can't do
Turzak,
it.
Kyle Turzak finishes 6th. And that is going to be a big story today. But you're right, you can't beat this one car, you just can't stop him. Something about Alex McCullum on these racetracks, in this race car, something about it just is absolutely unstoppable. What a driver combination. It didn't look like he was going to win this race for a long, long time, and then it just all came together nicely for him. I think it's all going to be shrouded a little bit by what happened out of turn 4 a little while ago, but that's the way racing goes sometimes. Alex McCullum, race winner nonetheless.
What is it that Denny Hamlin said? It's just short track racing.
Just short track racing.
Now, let's forget the context that he said it in, but it is just short track racing. It tends to fall that way sometimes. And, you know, thinking back to another saying, Andrew, that I heard from Darrell Waltrip, if your left side is used up, you've been in the way. If your right side's used up, you've been in the wall. And I think Turzak might have had his left side used up a little bit. But then again, if you're not in the way, are you really trying to defend for your position?
It was a masterclass of defense for a long time there from Kyle Turzak, but in the end, he finishes 6th, and Alex McCullum goes to victory lane once again. There you see, he only led 29 laps tonight. It wasn't complete domination from the one car, but it was enough to win him the race. Jacob Harberts, 2nd place, then Cole Cabry, Matt Rolfe, and Trevor Edwards, your top 5. Kyle Turzak, 6th place, then Kyle Meyer. What a fight it was between those two Kyles to the stripe for 6th position. Blake Thronberg there right behind him for 8th, then Justin Crowe and Chris Horton round out your top 10.
Rolling through the rest of the field, still Langford, he was up in the front for a majority of the race. He ends up 11th. RJ Williams, didn't expect to see him up there, 12th position for that 21 car. He was in the back, laps down most of the race, but he definitely made it work at the end. Jake Grout, Rocky Boyd, Josh Parrish, that rounds out your top 15. And then the first car 1 lap down is going to be Aaron Johnson. Brad Carpenter ended up 3 laps down the remainder of the race. And then Derek Robinson finishes 4 laps down. Drivers who did not finish the race, Cody Dempster and Keith Jeffrey, end this race 16 and 20 laps down in the 19th and 20th position.
21st through 26th, Spencer Dickinson, Chase Robertson, Jeremy Ashby, Kyle Souza, Cameron Hamilton, and Riley Stenjum. Some big stories, some smaller stories here in the final 6. Regardless, they all end up with a little bit of heartbreak and end up way out of the race win tonight. 56 laps down for Dickinson, 91 laps down for Robertson, hundreds at the point of Jeremy Ashby and beyond. Nearly 200 laps down for Riley Stenjum, a very early exit there for car 77. That'll do it for the racing portion of this evening's program from the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway, but we still have to talk to race winner Alex McCullum. And I am so curious, Alex, your thoughts as to what happened between you and Kyle Turzak at a turn 4.
It kind of looked like he kind of checked up exit, and I was so close to him. It was just kind of just a racing deal. And then he went up in the wall, I checked up, and then he kind of hooked the left to try to get back to me, but I don't know, he was making the track super wide and using everybody up pretty good, so I don't know what he was doing on the exit there. Kind of looked like he slowed down a little bit, but overall it was a pretty solid night. A lot of green flag laps. I don't think our car was that great, but it was still manageable.
I pondered how much of your speed has been the shop speed and how much of it has been the driver speed this season, and especially this evening. It didn't always look like it was going to be an Alex McCullum victory lane kind of night, but at the end there, you played your cards right, you got in the right position, saved your stuff for when it mattered most. What is the formula? How much of it is the car? How much of it is the driver? How much of it is placement?
With the late model stocks, I feel like it's like 80% set up, and then that 20% driver where he can make it up or trying to a little bit more consistent. But with the super, I feel like it's 50-50. If you have a good, like a 50% set up, I mean, and you're a good driver, I mean, you can put that car in victory lane. I don't know, tonight we struggled a little bit. We didn't test too much like we normally do, but we still had great speed. It's just we were just lacking a little bit.
Well, Alex, it's good to talk to you regardless. I hate for you that the win is going to be clouded a little bit by the contact between you and Kyle, but that's racing. That's how it goes. Congratulations. Still a massive win for you regardless. Now 7 on the season and a strong win nonetheless. Alex, congratulations. Good to talk to you as always. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Alex McCullum with the race win here at the virtual Myrtle Beach 400. Zach, second place, a very important position. It's the first loser, but man, so close for Jacob Harbers this evening. You have to wonder what could have been for car 80.
You have to. Jacob, you ran one heck of a race, and I know Andrew and I were both on the edge of our seat watching you fight with Kyle Turzak. Run us through everything that was going through your head when it came to that fight, man, because that was beautiful.
I mean, I know, race is divided in half, 125 laps, and you want to make sure you have good tires for the end. But I unfortunately lost the lead during pit stops. Clearly, I wanted it back and was trying to get around Kyle as cleanly as I could, but he just kept pinching me into the turtles nearly every time I was underneath him in 1 and 2. So that's just kind of what led into the throwing elbows for the rest of the race. And he was doing the same thing to Alex when Alex got to him. But glad we put on a good show. Looking back at it, it was a fun race. Glad to have some battling going on.
Well, I can't say that I wasn't impressed with the racing that went on. The other thing is the tire situation that came from that fighting. Do you think you burned up your stuff too much when it came to the fact of the matter of the fighting, or do you think you still had something left in the chamber for Alex?
Yeah, I think I had a great long run car. I mean, I had over a 2-second lead. I'm pretty sure the lap 122 caution that we got. But I really think if we didn't get that last caution with like 35 or 40 to go, I think I had a pretty good shot. It seemed like my car was coming back to me, but I needed those really long runs for my speed to really show. So I think that's what I needed.
Well, you still put on one heck of a show. You brought it home second. It's some solid points on the day. I know you probably wanted that win, but do you think maybe you could have done anything differently that would have put you in a better position to make this win happen?
I mean, if there was anything I could have done to have a quicker pit stop, I think that's the only thing. I tried to plan my pit stop the best I could. I feel like I nailed my pit entry and everything. I don't know if there's like a specific trick or like a way to pull into the pit box or what, but it's just luck. I don't know, maybe I was just unlucky on the pit stop. But that was really the biggest thing. Other than that, I mean, I maybe could have saved behind Kyle. But, with the cautions that we got, I think it would have been nearly impossible for me to get around him. I just really needed those long runs to get up to speed.
Well, you still put on an impressive show tonight. You led a lot of laps. You led over half the race, and you were able to bring it home for some good, solid points tonight. Congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you.
And then, Andrew, that is Jacob Harbert, and I think we have Cole Cabry on the horn now. Cole, you put on a clinic, really. I will say, you didn't lead any laps tonight, but But the big thing that we were talking about in the booth tonight was the fact of the matter is the shop drivers all tonight, Alex, you, Trevor, you guys were all over the place when it came to strategy. Alex stayed most of the time up the front. Trevor was in the middle a little bit, and you fell a little bit towards the back. You fell all the way to 20th at one point. Was that tire strategy, or was just something going on with you and the setup that you weren't really liking?
Well, I would have liked to have been up towards the front, but my qualifying effort wasn't the prettiest, so we had to qualify in from a heat race, and even in the heat race, I wasn't too comfortable and had to let Trevor go, so really wasn't bonding with the track and in the car combo that well this week, so I fell back to 20th to try to save tire and just try to beat everybody on strategy and saving a little fuel, so that way when pit stops came around, I didn't have to take as much, so just try to base some strategy and get a good finish, and it seemed to work out.
Well, you definitely did a good job. You, like I said, you struggled a little bit throughout the race, and you still pulled it off. I gotta imagine, was there anything going through your head there at the end of the race that maybe you could have had something to potentially win this race, or do you think Alex might have just, well, for lack of a better term, be Alex McCullum for the night?
Yeah, I maybe thought if I could have capitalized on when Harberts and Kyle were going at it on Alex and, like, try to get to his outside or something, but I don't think I could have hold him off, and I wasn't going to race him dirty to hold him off like that, even if I got around him. So just kind of one of those nights where I knew I wasn't going to be the best, and I just take what the night gave me, and I finished third. Not something it's a good finish, but I definitely want to be better and be contending for wins. I kind of just fell into this one, and hopefully we have a few week break, and then we're into the snowball.
Well, you got one more race left on the season in this 1-8 Racing Media National Tour. You're still second in the points, obviously, since Ryan Kuhn was not here tonight. I know Alex pulled a little bit on you, but do you think by any stretch of the mind that you have a shot at the championship going into the last race of the season?
Definitely not, to be honest with you. Alex will, he's smart enough just to finish the race, and I think that's all he needs to do. So, I mean, I would love to win it. I think everybody wants a championship, but Alex is a good buddy of mine, so a win for him is a win for the team, and we'll take it and move on to the Super Series once that starts up sometime at the end of this year or the beginning of next one. So, like I said, I don't think I have a shot at it, but it's a good championship for the team, and we'll just move on.
Well, you pulled out a good run tonight again. You finished third. You had a great race, and congratulations once again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Andrew, our top 3 out of the way for the evening, and I would be amiss if I said that this has got to be one of the greatest races that I've had the privilege to call, and I can't even describe in words how much I love the racing tonight. It was phenomenal. It was exceptional, and I am so glad that, as you touched on at the beginning of the broadcast, you were able to figure out, at least for tonight, the technical difficulties that you've been having with the broadcast system, and I'm so glad that we were able to be here tonight to call this race.
And part of what made it so great was Kyle Turzak's defense. And we're going to talk to driver 1-5 because tonight would not be complete, I feel like, without talking to Kyle Turzak with that amount of defense for 80 laps or so on Jacob Harberts and then Alex McCullum. What a play to get the race lead somehow under that break and defend. Congratulations just on that, Kyle. But what happened from your eyes? What happened from your perspective there at a turn 4 with Alex McCullum?
Just hard racing, To start out with the first half, I was just saving tire, and I got behind, I think it was Thornburg, and then Ashby got by me, and I could tell they were really loose, and I think Ashby ended up blowing a right rear there towards the end, which caused the last caution before halfway, and I knew that we needed to take 4 right there and make an adjustment, so that's what I did, and I put some fuel in the race car, and man, I knew that we had to save a little bit, but I knew from the first half that I needed to stay out front no matter what, because if Harberts got clean air, that was the race right there, and I just tried my hardest. I DM'd Harberts on the yellow, and I asked him if we could save a little bit, and he was like, just let me go. I'm like, no, we're racing this out. And he never told me about the turtles part. I kind of feel bad for him now, but hey, it's a big race, hard racing, and almost got wrecked a couple times, but me and McCullum had a really good show there at the end, and having 3 wide with Matt and Grout, just overall just really fun.
Really fun race for you for sure. Nearly went to victory lane with a very special paint scheme. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so recently, a regular here in Myrtle Beach, at Dylan before he passed. This is Mr. Uncle Sam. This is for you, buddy. Did this paint scheme earlier this morning, and I asked Matt, and he was okay with it. And I tried Uncle Sam, but almost got it. But thanks to Aunt Teresa for letting me run this, and to show big support to her, and almost got it done, but hopefully we can try it again here soon.
Aaron nearly got it done. Kyle, good to talk to you. Congratulations on a very strong run. Wish it could have been about 5 spots better for you.
Thank you.
Hate to see that, unfortunately, for Kyle Turzak and that defeat there at the end, but it's good to talk to him. I really wanted to get that story and chat with him after what an event that was. I mean, that was the best short track defense I've seen in a very long time, Zach. I'm still just in complete awe of how long he held those guys off. Better drivers, better cars, just incredible. And again, really wanted to talk to Kyle Turzak after that. That was just the best defense I've seen in a very long time. So congratulations to him there. But you mentioned earlier that this was a good return for us back to a little bit of normalcy around Pit Stop TV. We've had some missed broadcasts here and missed broadcasts there and whatnot after Hurricane Helene and then some technical difficulties. So yes, it was good to get back and get a show in this evening. Tomorrow night we're going to try and do the same thing. Bristol Motor Speedway for the Sim Rap Market Series at 7:45 Eastern from the one, the only Bristol Motor Speedway. You've got to tune in tomorrow and check out everything we've got to offer. It's going to be a very fun broadcast for sure. Then Sunday, it's the Icon Cup Series from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Wednesday, we go to Circuit of the Americas with the Sim Rap Market Series. We talked about all these earlier. Make sure to tune in for them, and make sure to tune in on the social media links down below.
Absolutely. www.pitstoptv.com. amazing work done by Andrew to get that website back up and running. I know I haven't said it in a while, but he has done so much great work on that website. It looks absolutely beautiful, and I think you should definitely go check it out. Facebook.com/pitstoptv, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, Twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, YouTube.com/pitstoptv1, and X.com/pitstoptv_. So many great races coming up, Andrew. So many beautiful things that are happening here at Pit Stop TV, and I'm excited to be along for the ride, and I hope you guys are too.
Going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. Got to tune in for the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Simrat Market Series. Make sure to be there. Until then, thanks for tuning in. A big thank you to our partners with the series. You see them there on the left side of the screen. Boyd's Automotive, Crow Sim Shots, Davis Chassis Works, DriverTees.com, Fast AF Designs, Highs Pride Leather and Sheepskin, International Short Track Association, Jeff By Jr. Art, Justin Brooks Designs, and Matthews Designs, and of course, 1-8 Coffee Company, 1-8 Racing Media, Pedley's Garage, Pierce Fleet Service, Race1Wraps.com, RS Center Trucking, SARA Next Gen Templates, SimRapMarket.com, Sousa Media, Studio 10 Wraps, and Toxic Media Solutions. A big shout out and a big thank you to our partners with the channel, Whiplash Media Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design, helping us get to and from the virtual racetrack and looking good while doing so. It would not be possible without these groups on the left side of your screen. Once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next time here at Pit Stop TV. Have a great night.